This is the new Nintendo 2DS XL, and it is the last Nintendo 3DS system that Nintendo released. Even though the system was discontinued on the 16th of September last year, it's still a great system, and I'm here to help you decide whether you should pick one up in 2021. First, the game library. The Nintendo 3DS has a game library that is unmatched. Along with 7 years of games made for the 3DS is also fully backwards compatible with any DS game you might own, giving it a library that dates back to 2004 and has 3,421 games. While not all these games are going to be amazing, especially seeing as the DS had a lot of shuffleware, this gives the 3DS a game library that has almost as many games as the Switch has. And you know what, even the Switch has a lot of shovelware. So, this library has a ton of amazing games. Nintendo obviously released a lot of games for the system, things like Mario Kart 7, Super Smash Bros., The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds, and Kirby Planet Robobot. They even ported over Kirby's Epic Yarn from the Wii as Kirby's Extra Epic Yarn, which is really cool. I love that game. What you might not know is that this system got a fair bit of third-party support as well. Games like Shovel Knight, The Binding of Isaac, Terraria, and even Minecraft. Granted, the 3DS version of Minecraft isn't that great. It's not the Bedrock version or anything, but it gets the job done. It would probably be better to just play Minecraft on your phone at that point, though. Screw it, what if you don't have Minecraft on your phone? Yeah, you know, that's what I'm going with. I don't. Now, I'm sure I missed a ton of great games, so let me know your favorites that I didn't talk about in the comments. I might just read them. Now that Nintendo has discontinued the 3DS, the modding community has taken the responsibility of maintaining the system into their own hands by releasing new apps, games, and themes, and anything in between. Granted, they've been doing this for ages, before the 3DS was even discontinued, but since the discontinuation, it's become a hell of a lot easier to mod a 3DS system. Anything even up to the latest firmware can be modded in about 10-15 minutes. Plus, Nintendo really doesn't care about modding the 3DS anymore, so bans from the Nintendo network are very rare. They only ever really happen if you cheat in online multiplayer games. Even legitimate games connect to the servers just fine, so now let's talk about some homebrew. First, new applications and utilities. The homebrew community has made some fantastic apps to improve the experience of using the 3DS. There's the ones we all know about, like FBI, Anemone, Checkpoint, and things like that. These are some of the most common ones, and they're included in the 3DS modding guide, the main one that everyone uses. But apps like Third Tube, 3D Shell, and Leaf Edit are amazing utilities that add a bunch of extra functionality to the system, especially 3D Shell. The file manager is extremely useful for moving files around and renaming things. Apps aren't the only thing the modding community is making though. Ports of games have been starting to show up. Super Mario 64 and the Christian Whitehead ports of Sonic 1 and 2 have both been ported to the 3DS with widescreen and 60 FPS. Even games like Doki Doki Literature Club have been ported, and if I ever actually find time to play this game, it's on this. It's gonna be on the 3DS, 100%. I've also really been enjoying Quake and Doom on the 3DS. Sonic CD is also available, but I haven't tried it yet. Emulators are also big on the 3DS, especially the new 3DS models. N64, PlayStation 1, and basically anything below that will run really well on the 3DS. With most emulated systems, you can make what is known as a virtual console inject, which allows you to put any ROM on the 3DS home screen as if it was downloaded straight from the eShop. It's how I got Crash Bandicoot on my home screen in the handheld collection video, although I don't blame you if you didn't know that video existed. It did not do very good. Now, these virtual console injects are also the best way to play GBA games, as running them through those virtual console injects runs them in the native 3DS Game Boy Advance mode. If you have an old 3DS, it is also the only way to play GBA, as GBA on RetroArch or MGBA is unplayable on the old 3DS systems. 3DS actually also used to have apps for streaming services like Netflix, Hulu, and YouTube. Unfortunately, all of these apps have been discontinued. YouTube still works on the new 3DS systems through the web browser or with the Third Tube Homebrew app, but there isn't any way to watch Netflix or Hulu on the system anymore. I mean, that's probably good. The resolution of the 3DS is extremely low. The 3DS has a built-in music app and it works really well, assuming your system doesn't have custom firmware. The reason I say that is because the way it works is it searches through every single folder on your SD card to find MP3 files. And homebrewed systems tend to have a lot of folders on the SD card. Just use your phone for media. Like, what are you doing? You're gonna watch, I don't know, what's a show? You're gonna watch the Outer Banks on a 240p display? I don't think so. It doesn't even support like Bluetooth headphones or anything. Now, while PC game streaming is possible, it isn't very practical for me personally. The Wi-Fi chip is 2.4 GHz and the only streaming app available, known as Pinbox, is no longer in development and takes some work to get going, as most of the requirements on the GitHub page have been taken down. When it starts working, there are major compression artifacts and there is a lot of latency, mainly thanks to the 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi. The app also doesn't have a CIA file for the latest version, meaning you have to open the Homebrew launcher every time you want to use it. So, should you buy a 3DS in 2021? Well, it depends. If you're only interested in emulation, you might want to try an emulation handheld, something like the Ambinic RG351P or the PowerKitty Q90. If you are interested in any way in the DS/3DS game library and have the money, I would highly suggest buying a new 3DS or 2DS if you don't care about 3D. Sorry, a new 2DS XL. Don't buy the old 2DS. But you'll want to act fast. 3DS prices are rising very fast, and they are slowly becoming a collector's item. I would suggest trying a local game or thrift store before trying eBay, as unfortunately people on eBay know what they have, and you can't find cheap prices on anything retro game related. Just want a cheap PS Vita, man. That's all I want. If you own an old 3DS and want to have the full potential of the 3DS, I would that is a worthwhile upgrade. Hang on, give me a sec. Here it is. I used to own an old 3DS XL, and the jump to the new 3DS system is like monumental. It is 100% worth it. Well, anyway, thanks for watching. See you.